All right. Welcome to Billy's Place. I am Billy Hinsche, and I am here to tell you we are going to have some big fun tonight. This is show number 56. This is the Dennis Wilson Show, part 2. You know, Dennis was such a huge personality, and oh my gosh, there was so much to say about Dennis, and so much great music that he participated in that we had to do a second show for him. Who knows, I might have to do a third. We'll see how this second show goes. Anyway, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Welcome to all the people that have been following my show for the last year. I really appreciate you coming back again and again. We sort of built a little community here, haven't we? I've noticed that. A lot of repeat folks, and it's wonderful. It really gives me a wonderful feeling to see everybody's names. I get familiar with them. And also, I'd like to welcome the new people. Anybody who hasn't been here before, I'd like to welcome you here. I hope you have a good time. I think you will. I've got a great show planned. I promise you that. It's going to be really special. And great songs, great stories. Might even get a phone call later from somebody cool. We'll see about that, most likely. Anyway, I'd like to invite you to share the show. I usually like to do this at the top of the show. Just hit the share button. We'll get this going out to as many people as we can around the world. And I'd like to invite you to go to my website, billyhinsche.com, where you'll see all manner of things, all kinds of stuff you can enjoy, and also to my new YouTube channel, Billy Hinsche Official, with all kinds of, all these shows, all preceding 55 shows that you can see at your leisure. Oh my gosh, I had so many different themes. I did the Wilburys, and we did Elvis. We had a Christmas show. We went to Detroit. We did songs of San Francisco. I mean, songwriter shows, on and on and on. So go there, check out these shows. They are all free, my brothers and sisters. They are all free for you to enjoy. I feel a sneeze coming on. Excuse me. Woo! I needed that. Thank you. Where was I? Yes. However, if you like my show, if you like what I'm doing, I would really appreciate it if you hit that PayPal link or the VENMO link. Send in a little something, whatever you can, whenever you can, as often as you can, and that'll help me keep this show going. And you know, I always give a portion of the proceeds to MusiCares, which is a foundation that helps musicians, so that's what we like to do. And I'll write you a personal note of gratitude, and there's a lot of people on this board here that'll attest to that. Anyway, do that. You know, I noticed, I was looking at Facebook earlier, and my buddy Michael McDonald, he's gonna do a show. He's gonna do a live stream show, and it's a Mother's Day show, and he breaks it down. He's going to charge, unlike myself. I mean, God bless him, you know, he's a big star. But it just goes to show you that, you know, us musicians, we need to do something to keep, you know, things going in our lives. So he's doing a live stream. Tickets are $20. This is called a Mother's Day event, Friday, May 7th. I'd like to invite you to go there. Michael's a friend. Showtime, 6 p.m. So $20 gets you in. The $40 package includes 2 tickets and a digital Mother's Day card. How about that? $60, you get a live stream, you get a vinyl record coaster, and you get a 12-pack. This is interesting. Michael McDonald's, it keeps you running coffee. Bold roast coffee. He's got coffee now. Well, you know, if Bob Dylan can have Knocking on Heaven's Door whiskey, I guess Michael can have coffee. Anyway, it goes on. $90 is the deluxe package, and it gets you, you know, a custom coaster and the coffee and a signed Mother's Day card. And for $150, 2 tickets, 2 VIP encore mandolin featuring additional songs, custom coaster, Michael McDonald's coffee, signed Mother's Day postcard. My gosh. But you see, that's the difference. I don't charge anything. However, $7,500, I'll come over to your house, make a pot of coffee, and we'll talk. Oh boy. Airfare, hotel, and ground transportation not included. Anyway, I just thought that was interesting. I thought I'd pass that on to you. Anyway, I want to thank Greer Upton, who did my graphic this week. Greer's my dear friend from grammar school. She's my sister's very best friend, and she's a professional graphics artist, and she did great work. I want to congratulate Susan Milner. She named 6 of Dennis Wilson's cars that he owned over the course of his lifetime. Here they are. The make. Ford, I'll just say the model too. Ford Cobra. He also had a Ford, like, it's not a Model T, but it was an older, you know, looking car. He actually bought that to impress my father. It was a beautiful car. It was black, had running boards, convertible, tan interior, beautiful car. Yeah, he wanted to show off to Pop, and Pop was impressed, believe me. He had a couple of Corvettes that I'm aware of, at least 4 Ferraris that I know of, Jaguar XKE, about circa 1976 Mercedes 450 SLC, you know, the 2-seater, beautiful little sporty Mercedes. And he even owned a VW camper, that is. And I believe it was called the Westfalia, where you could pop the roof, yeah, and get more, you know, headroom. He also owned, you know, a Porsche. He had a big old truck with big old tires, like a Bigfoot, you know, he had it all built up. He let me borrow it one time. And of course, he had a Rolls Royce. He was driving John Lennon's most beautiful Rolls Royce I've ever seen. Yeah, so he had quite the collection. So congratulations to young Susan Milner for winning the contest, and I sent her a signed copy of Dennis Wilson Forever DVD. I want to thank Miss Linda Pearl for doing my promotional video this week. She did it for me a while back, and I just love it. It's just fantastic. Thank you, Linda. You know, I needed some furniture, so I went to a singles bar. Yeah, really all I needed was a one nightstand. Hello, my friends. It's good to see you again. I guess it's been a few years since I've been away, but I'm happy to say, doing okay myself. I can dig what's happening, and every day there is something new. Hey, the good things are coming my way. Tell me, how have you been? There's so much you gotta tell me. Let's talk about them good old days when we laugh and say, hey, hey, man, you're okay. Let's take it nice and easy now. It's a brand new year. Lots of things are happening. Hey, good things are coming my way. Tell me, how have you been? There's so much you gotta tell me. Talk about them good old days. We laugh and say, hey, 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 life, okay. Don't go away so soon now. Let's get on back in that groove. Stick around for a couple of days, 'cause hey, good things are coming my way. Give a woman another look and told me not to worry about my life. stands all alone. There's food for me and it tastes so good. Where's my pretty bird? He must have flown away. If I keep singing, he'll come back someday. Gone, the bird's still gone. Guess I'll go mow the lawn. What a day, what a day. Ooh, what a beautiful day this is. Down and sang a song to me. Little bird looked down and sang a song to me. My way, on my way, on my way, on my way. Natural fade out. I hope you like that. I know Dennis wouldn't mind that I borrowed Little Bird for my little end of my song there, for crying out loud. That was from the Friends album. It was the 14th studio album for the Beach Boys. Boy, number 14. Released in June of '68. The writers were Dennis Wilson and Stephen Kalmanich. And, you know, actually, I have my own little bird right outside here. I've got a pine tree that grows in it's springtime and birds come and visit. And so that song has new significance for me, actually. And by the way, do you like the guitar? It's a beautiful Guild guitar. Once again, a gift from Jeff Foskett. I must be doing something right that he keeps giving me these beautiful guitars. You trying to tell me something, Jeff? No, Jeff's not going anywhere. He just is in a generous mood these days. And I just tell you, it's a beautiful guitar. I'm very fortunate to have it. And I am delighted to debut it for you here tonight. Yes, indeedy. You know, speaking of birds, I was in the park the other day, and I saw two red-breasted robins. Try saying that fast 10 times. They were sitting in a tree enjoying the day. I guess you could say they were Baskin Robbins. Oh, phone call. Excusez-moi. Hello? Yes. Hi. Yeah, you don't have to tell me who you are. I know who you are. Listen, I am so grateful that you called, and your timing was perfect. I just, you know, did a rim shot on my special effects here. I just told a corny joke, but that's what my viewers come to expect. I didn't want to let them down. Anyway, may I put you on speaker and introduce you to my viewers? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this fella is so special to me. I go back a long ways with him, but he goes back even longer with Dennis. And you know, a lot of people like to claim Dennis, like, you know, well, Dennis was my best friend, you know, and I'm one of them. Everybody wanted to, you know, Dennis made you feel like you were his best friend. But this fellow right here really was Dennis's best friend in the early days. And he's going to tell you all about it, and we're going to talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is John Parks. John, would you say hello to my viewers, please?
Hello, everybody, and thanks for having me on, Billy.
John, you're the perfect guest because you really know what you're talking about when we talk about Dennis. You didn't read it in a book, and somebody didn't tell you about it. You were actually with him on so many great adventures. When did you first meet him? Was it in school? Was it in high school?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it was an interesting day that I met Dennis. It was the first day of my sophomore year in high school.
Uh-huh.
And I was waiting to go to my first class, and there was two guys over to the side that started yelling and pushing at each other and stuff. And somebody said they're going to meet after school and fight, and the bell rang, and we went into class. And time went on. And about my third or fourth period, it was my gym class, and Dennis was in my gym class. And the coach had decided to have a weightlifting contest for the class. And I came in first, Dennis came in second. And I noticed Dennis when I was actually beating him, and he looked he's real competitive and a lot of energy. And so, anyway, I won the contest and said hi to Dennis afterwards and stuff, and we didn't know each other. And so after school, I moseyed out to see if the two guys were going to fight. And I knew the one guy was Eddie, and the other guy was Dennis.
Uh-huh.
And there was about 100 people around in a circle, and I didn't want it to happen, so I just walked through the crowd, and I grabbed Dennis by the arm. And I said, "You guys don't want to fight," and we just kept walking, and we walked all the way to his house.
Uh-huh. You averted a rumble in the schoolyard with Dennis and this other guy, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, man.
Well, so anyway, we stopped in. I walked in his house with him, and there was this doorway right next to me, and it was all dark inside, and all of a sudden I heard somebody say, "Denny, did you bring someone home?" And I knew it was Dennis's dad, and I said, "My name is John Parks, Mr. Wilson. Nice to meet you." And he said, "Nice to meet you, John." And Murray and I became good friends with that, and I helped him during the weekend sometimes. He had an import-export business, and I helped Murray, because all of the guys did. I went with him and helped him clean machines and stuff. And I met Audrey that day, and I met Carl and Brian that day.
Uh-huh. So you worked at Able Machinery?
Yeah, I didn't even remember the name of it, but yeah, I went to his machine shop where he had all of the equipment.
Uh-huh.
And cleaned it, because some of it was already used, and he was cleaning it up and reselling it, shipping it out of the country and getting more in.
I see, like an aftermarket thing with auto parts, huh?
Yeah, he probably did new ones too, but it was just an import-export business, and that was a good thing to move.
Well, speaking of autos and auto parts, you were right there with Dennis during his racing years. Could you tell the viewers about how Dennis got into that? And you told me a terrific story about, the Shelby factory that you guys went to.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Dennis always had nice cars. Sometimes when he went on tour, he would actually leave me his car, and I'd drive it while I was on tour and stuff when I was still in school, and a couple of years after that. But anyway, I think you're talking about the Cobra.
Yes.
And I went up to his house one day. He had married Carol. They lived in Benedict Canyon, and I hung out with him on the weekends and stuff. And so I went up there, and he had a Cobra.
Wow.
And he wanted to. We both drove it around and stuff, and it was an amazing car. It's like sitting on top of an engine and driving it around.
And now, what color was the car at this time? And it was street legal at this time, right?
Yeah, it was street legal. In fact, that's part of the story. It was a 64 Cobra 289 engine.
Uh-huh.
And so Dennis wanted to build it up. And so we knew that we used to race down Imperial Highway. It's on the south side of the LA airport.
Right, I know it well.
And there's a long street there with no signal lights and no traffic. And so we used to race there, our cars and stuff. When we'd cruise Hawthorne Boulevard, then that race would end up out there.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, we knew that Carol Shelby's factory was right there in Imperial. So we went down there to Cobra factory at the airport there. And Dennis talked to them about making it faster and what do we need to do, and trying to get some help and have us learn more about it and stuff. And they really got behind Dennis. I mean, that was a day, and we did all that, and I went away, and Dennis went back and talked to him, and they ordered 4 Ford Motor Company had a 500 horsepower motor. They ordered that for Dennis.
Oh.
And they sent Dennis down to the Goodyear place on La Brea, I think it was. I went with them. And they got tires for the car, and we told them what kind of engine, and they put the tires on and new rims and everything so it would stay on the ground.
So it would stay on the ground.
Really good. And we drove it down the Lions drag strip one day because we wanted to see how fast it would go.
Sure.
And they put us they didn't know where to put us because we drove it down there. All the stuff that went that fast was trailered down. And we just drove it in and we're ready to go. We're going to drive it back home. So we raced, and they put us in the funny car element of the quarter-mile race. And we won. We did good, and we left. And so we did that a few times. And Dennis learned more about it. And we had both gotten married, and I was doing something else, and Dennis was doing his thing. And so I didn't see him for a while, but I understand he got a 427 Cobra, and he kept racing. He got really good at it. I drove the car sometimes too, but just a few times. And I turned like 170 miles an hour in 7.2 seconds.
Wow.
And Dennis went faster than that, but that's when we ran fuel. We had a new engine and fuel, and their car was like a different car. But the 64 Cobra is a narrow car. The 427 Cobra that they brought out in 65, 66 is a wider car, 6 or 7 inches wider, which is quite a bit for a car. But it made it more stable. It made it a better car, so I guess that's why Dennis bought the other one too. Because he really got into racing. He was up around the 200-mile-an-hour range in the quarter mile.
Well, I remember him telling me you guys were running like jet fuel, and he had to start it in second gear on the drag strip because the front end would come off the ground if he started it in first gear. And then he eventually was racing rails, if our viewers know what that is. You mentioned funny cars.
He was in the B-class rail, I think, up around 200 miles an hour.
Incredible. Wow.
But he really did well with it. I've seen pictures of him like in a blue, it's a fire suit that he has on. We had fire suits when we ran fuel. You had to do that.
Right.
And at one time we tested it. Dennis fed this fire suit, and he put a cigarette out of my arm and burnt my arm.
Well, now, tell me, because there's been some discussion about the color of the car. It was green at one time, it was orange at one time. Were those two different cars, or was it painted, or what?
No, the Cobra, when he bought it, it was green, and all the time I raced it, it was green. So I think they painted that yellow and then got a 427 and painted that yellow too.
I see. So you kept the body.
If you're, running like that, you want the same look on your car.
I see. John, that's just incredible that you were there and you had that experience with Dennis. I mean, you and I have had some pretty amazing experiences. How did you get involved with the Beach Boys? I know that you said that as far as being on the crew, on the staff, there was cousin Steve Korthoff was there, and our good buddy Ron Swallow was there, and you were also there working for the boys. Could you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, I mean, we were both getting married or married at that time. We got married pretty early. And I was going to college. I was taking police science. I wanted to be an FBI agent.
Uh-huh.
And Dennis and I were like going out on the boat and stuff. He had a 42-foot Chris Craft at that time, and we were going to Catalina every day.
I remember I was on that boat once.
Yeah. And there's a quick story about that is when he got it new, we went out on it for 4 days, and every day we got to Palos Verdes, the engine quit, and we called Mayday on the radio.
Oh, man.
After 4 days, the lady came on the phone, the operator said, please do not call Mayday. Every time you do that, all of the ships in the area have to go towards you. Just ask us for help.
Oh, my God. What was the name of that boat? That's a good sort of a trivia contest question.
Oh, geez, I forget.
Oh, well, that's all right. That's a funny story. I'm surprised the engine kept failing. Between you and Dennis, I figured that one of you could figure out how to fix the darn thing. But,
Well, no, I mean, it was electronic stuff on the boat, and the boat had everything on it for fish finding. We went marlin fishing and everything with it.
yeah, he picked me up in that one. Well, he didn't pick me up at the house in that. He picked me up at the house early one morning, my folks, and he took me out there. It was quite foggy, but he was all proud. He had this new radar and sonar, you know, that guided him in and out of Marina del Rey Harbor. Wow, John, we could talk forever. Do you have another quick story you could tell before I got to keep going here with my songs and tales of Dennis? You got a quick, funny story about... Oh, please tell. Make it quick, though, because I got such a big show. The one where I told a hunting story last week. Would you tell your hunting story, please?
Yeah, okay. Dennis and I, we always got in, I mean, like, at times we were scuba diving, we did it all the time, then it's the car, then the boat. We always had water skiing or something, and we decided to go and look at hunting. And we went down to the store, and we asked these guys to show us how to, like, call in animals in a rabbit call, a herd rabbit call, to try to call in animals and stuff, and we were getting into trapping and doing all that. And we actually killed an animal one time, and we threw the traps away and got rid of them. But this time that you're talking about, Dennis had a big camper, and his wife Carol and her best friend Sherry and Dennis and I all jumped in the camper, and we went out to Palmdale or Lancaster or someone way in the middle of nowhere. It was like blackout. Turned the lights out of the camper, and you couldn't see anything. And so anyway, Dennis and I jumped out of the camper, and we're going to go try to call in a cat or a wolf or something like that, or some kind of big animal. And so we went behind this bush, behind this rock, and we kneeled way down, and we were blowing on this rabbit call and everything. And after about 5 minutes, we're sitting there. All of a sudden, a mountain lion jumped right in front of us. And it scared us so much, and it scared him so much that we all ran different ways.
I think it was the same mountain lion that was stalking me and Dennis in my story.
Yeah, right. Okay, so here's another part of that story.
Yeah, keep going.
Hustled back to the camper and told the girls what happened. And we were all laying down trying to, go to sleep in a little bit. And about an hour into that sleep, it was perfectly quiet out there. We heard a train way in the distance laying there in the camper. And pretty soon it started getting a little bit louder and louder. And all of a sudden, it got so loud it started shaking the camper. And we had actually parked 10 feet from the train track. We were lucky we didn't park on it.
Oh,
the train went by and just shook the camper. And Carol, Dennis's wife, still tells that story all the time. It was amazing.
That is hysterical. And as you told me the other day, that was kind of a typical adventure with Dennis, right?
Yeah, I mean, something always happened with Dennis. I mean, Dennis is a real competitive guy, and he never stops. He's got a lot of energy. After the second day that I knew Dennis, I was laying in bed at night at 10 o'clock at night in my house, and I had a big window that pushed out at the bottom. It was like 6 feet by 4 feet. And all of a sudden, at 10 o'clock at night, Dennis and his friend Louie were sticking their heads in my window saying, "John, let's go to the beach."
Louis Murata?
Yeah, the guy that lived across the street from him.
Yeah, I know who you mean.
You know Louie, okay. So anyway, and I couldn't go and stuff, but that's Dennis. He never stops.
Wow, that's really funny. John, we could talk. We could do a whole show together, and maybe we will someday, or maybe I'll do a third Dennis show. Would you promise to call back again sometime? Yeah,
it'd be fun just to do that. What you said, just talk about different stuff that happened on the road and what we were doing and everything.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the Beach Boy stuff, but I love the stories, and I'm sure my viewers love the stories about the one-on-one fun stuff with Dennis off the road that was just, palling around. So, John, thank you so much. God bless you. You really made my show for Dennis special. So thank you so much for calling, John.
Okay, thank you, Billy.
All right. God bless you. Bye-bye. Wasn't that great? John Parks. You know that song the Beach Boys did, I think it's Be There in the Morning, where the one line, no calls from Korthoff, Parks or Grillo. Well, Steve Korthoff, Nick Grillo, John Parks. I love it. Well, got to get back into the show here. Here's to John Parks. Thank you so much, John. Really appreciate it. You made the show very special tonight. My house drink, Lipton Cold Brew Iced Tea. Splash of Pellegrino, splash of lemonade, a lemon wedge, lots of ice, makes it nice. I ought to be doing a commercial for somebody. Well, actually, I am doing a commercial every time I do that. Excuse me. Yes, indeedy duty. All right, let me just refocus here. And, all right, I'm going to do another song from that same era that, that Little Bird came from, okay? So let me get set up here. You know, Dennis lived in a beautiful home on Sunset Boulevard. It was a log cabin. It was Will Rogers' former estate before he moved across the street to the cliffs there where his big Polo Grounds estate was. And Dennis had a pump organ out there, and he sat down at the keyboard one day and he played this for me. He was just getting into the songwriting mode. Do you know what I mean? So this was an early Dennis Wilson song. You know you are. Be still and know you are. Your life was meant for joy. It's all so deep within. Oh, your life is beautiful. A seed becomes a tree, a mountain into a sky. This life was meant to be. Now is the time life begins. Take that simple path and love will set you free. Live in harmony and love will set you free. Oh, you know you are. Be still and know you are. You know you are. Be still and know you are. Okay, that went pretty good, didn't it? Yeah, excellent. I've never performed that. I don't know if anybody's ever performed that, but you know me, I like to go deep, get the cuts that are obscure, that you probably won't ever hear in concert. So that's what I do. And when I get out there into the public and I'm doing shows and coming to your town, I'm going to be doing stuff like that too. You know, I went to a show here in Vegas just the other night. It's starting to open up a little bit. You know, I went to, it was a dinner and show. A good friend of mine was doing a show here, and yeah, so things are loosening up, and hopefully that'll prove to be the case for me as well. So anyway, that song is really special, very meditative in nature, don't you think? Anyway, what do I got? Well, as far as Dennis and his wonderful personality, you know, he never needed a big mansion on a hill. You know, he just could live really simply. Like John said, you know, he gets a camper, you could live in a camper. It's not easy to live in a camper, you know, maneuver around in a camper or on a boat. Small compartments and, but Dennis was really good at that. And his homes were always, kind of simple, humble even, He had a little place on Beverly Glen for a while, and, his beach houses were always just simple, He was really a simple guy in that regard. Didn't need a lot. Anyway, yeah. So Little Bird and Be Still, very interesting subject matters, I think. But the Beach Boys were known for interesting subject matter. I mean, my gosh, songs like Solar System and Johnny Carson. I mean, who can come up with these things? Vegetables, you know what I mean? And my friend Jack insists he can talk with vegetables. What do you think about that? I guess Jack and the Beans talk. Jack and the Beanstalk. Well, here's one that I'm going to do. This is a request from Cousin Carl. Cousin Carl Benton Wilson. He asked if I would do this, and how could I say no? This is Dennis's son, Dennis and Barbara's son, Cousin Carl. I'm going to take another little sip. All right, let's see if we got this. Yeah. Sing with me if you like. Whoa! Stop the music. Stop the music. Let's try that again. I hate it when this keyboard sneaks up on me like that. Jeez. No fun. No fun. Let's try that again. All right. Well, maybe it's a little fun. There we go. That's better. Mona, come to me. Give me some loving. Tell me you want it. Listen, my Mona. How's about an 8 o'clock dinner? How's about a 9 o'clock movie? Wanna be groovy. Put your loving arms around me. Aren't you glad that you found me? Do you like fine wine now? Don't it taste fine now? Can't you just hear it? Rock and roll music. Get that beat now. Does it feel mean now? Will you just kiss me? When you leave me, don't you just miss me? Could we get married? And up, I'm going steady. Discotheque, mama. Show me the boogie. Start a little dance now. Take a little chance now. Come on, listen to run. Listen to Be My Baby. I know you're gonna love Phil Spector. I know you're gonna love Phil Spector. Mona, come to me. Give me some loving. Tell me you want it. Come on now, Mona. Mona, Cousin Carl, I hope you like that. Wow, I gotta take another sip. I'm a little dry, Gulch. Ooh, baby. It is time for a question and answer period. I don't often do this, but I happen to have a question from Miss Andrea Maria. Andrea Maria asked me, "Hi, Billy. Dennis fan here from Philly. My Dennis question for you is simple. What is your favorite personal memory of him? And second, what is your favorite musical memory of Dennis?" Well, that's a tough question because there were so many, my favorite personal memory of Dennis. To be honest with you, there are some things that are so personal, that are so private, or so, special that I don't even like to talk about him. That I like to keep him to myself. But I could tell you this about Dennis: what a bon vivant he was, and just a lover of life. He loved great food. He was like a connoisseur of living. He's just like everything. He wanted to try everything. And I remember a couple of times, he loved food. He was a great chef. And 2 times, one time there's a hotel in San Diego called the Hotel del Coronado, or we call it the Hotel Del. And you may remember it from the movie Some Like It Hot. Marilyn Monroe, Jack Lemmon, Tony Curtis. Anyway, he and I, we must have been doing a show down there. There was no other reason for us to be in San Diego. And we shared a room, big suite that he got. And he said, "You want to have champagne cocktails?" And I said, "Sure." Now, I'd never had a champagne cocktail. Well, he picks up the phone. He orders a bottle of champagne and all the fixings. And he showed me how to make a champagne cocktail. Here's how you make the Dennis Wilson champagne cocktail. Champagne glass, duh. Sugar cube. Bitters. Drop of bitters right on that sugar cube. And then the champagne, and then a little twist of lemon. And there you go. But another memory I have, very fond of, I was still living at my parents' house. I probably had a driver's license at that time, but he said he's going to pick me up, We're going to go out to dinner. So he picks me up in the beautiful chocolate brown Rolls Royce that he owned, and he just dressed beautifully that night. It was just so elegantly dressed. I think he had a black velvet jacket and a beautiful white, probably $100 shirt, just gorgeous. And we went to the Aware Inn in the San Fernando Valley. On the wrong number. We've been through this before. Hold on. I've got to straighten this out. Hang on, my friends. Oh boy. One of these days I'm going to get the technology right here. I'm going to keep talking while I search for this person. We go to the Aware Inn in the valley, right? And he loved the bread. He loved they had warm rolls, and he just loved the honey. There we go. So much better. Hello? Yes, sir. Your time is great. I venture to say that was probably you on the other line. That is so funny. Ladies and gentlemen, I have another fantastic guest caller. Would you mind if I put you on speaker, buddy? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a special show. This is the Dennis Wilson Show. So I'm going to, really do everything I can to make it interesting and wonderful for you. We had John Parks. This is another one of Dennis's very best friends in the years after John was around, and this gentleman came on the scene. Now, I've known him since I was a kid at the Martins. I knew him, and I think I've known him even longer than Dennis. And let me just get to the point here. He's co-written songs with Dennis, great friend of Dennis. This is Gregg Jakobson, everybody. Would you say hello to my viewers, Gregg, please?
Hey, here I am. What is it, Saturday night? And hello, everybody. It's looking forward to this. Watching the sunset. Oh, I'm ready. Ask me a question.
Well, you're up there in the great Northwest, right?
Yeah, I live right in the middle of Oregon on a river in Oregon.
Well, that sounds incredible and idyllic. Now, I'm right? You and I, Gregg, we met around when I was quite young at the Martins home. I mean, you were palling around with Terry Melcher and Eddie Garner and the Websters, right? That's when we met. Is that right?
Yeah. Let me ask you something. In fact, I had a question for you.
Yeah.
Were you at that show with Dino Desi and Billy open for the Beach Boys at the Shell in Honolulu?
Yeah.
63?
65.
Right?
65.
65. You know, that's the first time I met you. I was there because Bruce and Terry were on that show, right? Weren't they?
No, that was different then,
No,
Greg. That was different.
Okay.
Yeah, Bruce and Terry were on in '63. That wasn't us. No, I maintain that you and I met at the Martins. I'm going to stick to that.
Okay, that's where I met Dennis. It was in '63 at the Shell because I went over with Bruce and Terry. You know, we were good friends. We were tight.
Okay, that all makes sense.
Funny story.
And then fade out, fade in. Were you fast friends with Dennis from that moment on, or did the friendship, come and go? Or how do you tell us about your relationship with Dennis?
Okay, well, okay. That's when I met Dennis. Everybody was staying at the Kahala Hilton, partying before the show. And the part of the deal was when an act would go over there, they'd get to stay at the Kahala Hilton for like a week. That was a big part of it, which was kind of cool. But anyway, I just came in with Bruce and Terry, and everybody was drinking Mai Tais and being Hawaiian and stuff. And Dennis came over to me and asked me, Dennis, how he was always a curious person, and he had no compunction about asking somebody, who and what they were or what time of day it was. So anyway, he comes up and he says, hey, who are you? I said, I haven't met you. He said, I saw you come in with Bruce and Terry. I said, yeah. I said, I did. I'm Gregg Jakobson, and I know, and who are you? I was joking. I said, who are you? And he laughed, and then I told him, I know. Yeah, Dennis, I'm kidding. I know who you are. He said, well, what do you do? I said, well, I write song titles. And he says, you write song titles? I said, yeah, I really do. And because I actually had written some song titles with Terry just to get a publishing advance so that I could go to Hawaii and goof around. It was kind of that's another whole story. But anyway, he says, hey, you want to get out of here? I mean, he said, I don't want to stand around and drink Mai Tais. He says, let's go. So we went out on the beach and chased squirrels, and that's how we met.
Perfect.
That was the beginning of a whole new career for me, especially the musical part too. That I really did write some song titles. That later we had to write songs for the titles so that we could get paid. But that was a funny story.
So you wrote song titles for Bruce and Terry stuff, or for the Raiders, or who did the songs end up with?
Well, I think a couple of those songs actually got recorded by Bruce and Terry because we had titles, but then they had to, when they were doing it, and they went out as album cuts. It was like Big Wednesday was it was the surfing song.
Yes.
Freeze a Crowd, and I don't remember the other title, but anyway, because I had gotten an advance for those, and then I used the money to go to Hawaii. Because Terry said, come on, you got to go to Hawaii. I said, Terry, I can't really afford it. He says, okay, give me some song titles. And he went at the time, he was with Bobby Darin's publishing company. So, and he got a $1,000 advance from me for 3 songs. And I ended up being able to go to Hawaii because of that.
I love it. I did the same thing. I wrote a television theme song called Automan for our buddy Desi Arnaz Jr., who you know well. And I got an advance too. And what did I do? I went to Hawaii.
Yeah, perfect. But I thought, gee, this is really a cool business. I can, I come up with song titles and I get to go to Hawaii. It's like winning the jackpot.
Really? Now listen, speaking of song titles, kick out some song titles of songs that you co-wrote with Dennis. I mean, the big one for me is Holy Man.
Yeah, Holy Man is really an interesting song, which has labor. But the song that gets the most attention for me, and that is Forever, a song that Dennis and I wrote way back, and a lot of people come, oh my God, we love that song, Greg. We played it at our wedding, so a lot of people play Forever after wedding. It figures, it's a romantic song. Everything I said would make you laugh, I'd talk forever. And anyway, so that's the song that I get the most credit for. Holy Man is a really interesting song because it had a life of its own and it's still going on. You want to hear the Holy Man story?
Yeah, but before you do, let me say, I'm a member of Cameo, which is a company that I do video shout-outs for people, and the request I get most often is, Billy, can you sing Forever for my wife? Billy, can you sing, That's the most common request. And I did Forever 2 shows ago, the first Dennis Wilson show, and I also did Holy Man 2 shows ago, and Jim Guercio called in. But no, I'd love to hear the Holy Man story from your point of view.
And you know, and John and Stamos did
yes.
Forever on one of the shows. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he loved that song. Anyway, so that's been a nice thing for me. It's I'm proud of that song. I'm proud of all the stuff. And sometimes I hear people of songs they've forgotten that Dennis and I wrote that, you know, somebody did it or some, you know, it's a publishing business, interesting business. 30 years later, something you're getting a check in the mail.
Yeah, love that.
That you can't even. Didn't even remember writing it until I said, oh yeah, I remember that title. Anyway, I'm sorry, Billy. What was the question?
Just other song titles that you've done with Dennis, or tell the story of the Holy Man from your point of view, because we heard Jim's point of view on it, but not from the songwriter's standpoint.
Okay, so Holy Man, Dennis. I mean, this goes way back. This goes back to when Maharishi was traveling. He actually went on the road with the Beach Boys, and they were doing shows together.
I remember.
And Maharishi, and it was a disaster because the mix didn't work to draw people, right? And I think not Billy Hinsche, but Al Jardine said the only people that are making money on this tour is the florists, because
yes.
Maharishi always said you have a lot of flowers around.
Right. I would never say anything like that.
The deal. Anyway, Dennis came shortly after that. I think after the tour was over, he says, "Hey, Gregg," he says, "we got to write a song about the Holy Man." He said Dennis was so blown away that there was such a person really as a holy man, a guy that long hair and beard, white robes and sandals. I mean, the guy is really a Hindu monk. And so anyway, I said, yeah, okay, let's see, sure, the Holy Man can, and we will follow. And anyway, I could never get a lyric for it, and neither could anybody. A bunch of people tried. Dennis and I, and I won't take this away for any credit from Dennis. Dennis and I was there and I helped, but Dennis cut an incredible track for Holy Man.
Yeah.
It was kind of a legendary track without a lyric. And other writers even tried to write a lyric for Holy Man, and nobody could come up with it. They were all very derivative or kind of corny or shallow. They just couldn't do it. So, and Dennis always said, he says, "Oh man," he says, "don't worry about it. We'll get it. He says, I love the track." And so the track kind of ended up going in limbo, went into the vaults, the Beach Boy vaults, and so then 2007, Sony called up and they wanted to re-release Pacific Ocean Blue, which was released in '77.
Right.
Without Holy Man, without Forever, without Holy Man on it. And so we went into the vaults looking for material because they wanted to do a double album, and there was a bunch of stuff in there that had never been released besides Pacific Ocean Blue. And in fact, it went out as a double album. Bamboo was one of the two discs, and the Holy Man was not Holy Man, but Pacific Ocean Blue was the other disc.
Right.
Double album. Anyway, so we were going through, and there was a lot of new songs between those two albums. And when we were in the vault with the engineer, John Hanlon was the engineer. He said, "Gregg," he said, "look at this, man. Look what I found. It's the old tape of and what are we're talking about?
Holy Man.
Holy Man.
Yeah.
Without a lyric. And I said, yeah. I said, man, that was such a great track. Let's listen to it. And so we listened to it, and I said, John, cut me a cassette so I can take it home. At the time, we were cut me a tape because we didn't even had cassettes at the time. So cut me a tape. He did. I took it home and I listened to it. I kept listening, and finally I got so inspired that I wrote a lyric with the ego of a lamb, the holy man can calm the swaggering of despot is the ego of man, and it started coming together. Oh, okay, so this is 2006, and we were putting material on the new album on Bamboo, but Dennis is gone. Dennis is long gone, but he was right. He said someday you'll get it. So I went to Taylor Hawkins, the drummer in the Foo Fighters, who always admired Dennis. Dennis was one of his idols. He's a drummer, and the drummers always have a interesting pact together, the way they think and act. In fact, Taylor Hawkins' voice even sounds like Dennis. He had kind of a smoky, gravelly,
yes, it does.
voice. And in fact, people thought it was Dennis singing it. Not that Taylor tried. He just sang it because he loved the song and he loved Dennis. And it turned out really great. So then and what Taylor did, he says, man, we have to send this to what's his name? I'm drawing a blank.
Brian May.
Brian May. Yes, Brian May in London. Yeah, and they were tight. They were very good friends. That the Foo Fighters had been touring over there, and they spent a lot of time hanging out with.
And they ended up doing an incredible version of it.
And they kept it. Well, now, yeah. And Sony's waiting. They want to release Holy Man, but they're kind of holding off because we said no. But we're getting Brian May's going to add some lyrics and some percussion and Brian May's guitar, and they kept it for so long that the album went out without the Queen version,
right?
The London version, the Queen version, and So now the song, so Holy Man went out with the instrumental version on the album, and then there's also Taylor Hawkins' version of him singing the lead.
Right.
But still, the Queen version is still not out. So a couple of years go by, up until like 2019, just two years ago. Finally, if you just imagine this, imagine how the cadre of attorneys involved in this, all the attorneys Queen would have, all the attorneys the Beach Boys would have, and all the attorneys that the Foo Fighters have.
And the managers, Jim Guercio spoke to this on his call, yeah.
And so finally in 2019, they all agreed that, okay, there's really no reason not to release this. Brian May really wanted it released. But anyway, so the calls were going back and forth from London. Anyway, finally in 2019 it released, and it was released. It went out, and I suppose it's still out on iTunes. That was by itself. It went out as a single on iTunes by itself. Yeah. And also it was really nice because the Queen film was out, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
I thought we'd surely get some miles out of that. That was kind of interesting. So, but that's what I mean. The song has a life of its own. I had nothing to do with it. We were finally kind of running after it, just trying to keep up with it. So Dennis was right, though. Don't worry about it. We'll get a lyric at some point. And so, yeah. So it goes on. Holy Man goes on.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yes, it should.
Greg, that's a heck of a story. I've got so much more show to do. I want to thank you so much for calling in. We could talk for hours, I'm sure. Maybe we'll do this again. But for now, I got to keep going. God bless you.
Okay.
Thank you so much. My viewers are loving.
I love you. I love telling the Holy Man story. Later.
All right, buddy. Bye for now. Thank you, Greg. Greg Jakobson, everybody. Fantastic. You know what? I'm going to just take off this jacket and sit down here and relax a little bit, get comfy. I know you won't mind. I know Dennis won't mind, because I've got quite a few more songs to play for you, and all in the spirit of my buddy Dennis Wilson. Yes, indeed. Well, let's just see where I am in this whole scheme of things here. I got a great song for you right here. But I want to ask you, Holy Man was kind of a groundbreaking song. Do you know what the first groundbreaking invention was, though? I want you to think about that. Do you know? First groundbreaking invention. Anybody got any ideas? It was a shovel. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, indeedy. Yes, indeedy. Well, now, I'm going to keep pushing here. We got so much more to do. You know, Gregg described, and John described, and I can describe, you know, all the different things that, you know, you get into with Dennis, you just never knew. And you might say that you got into some wild situations. That is for sure. Dennis wrote a little song called Wild Situation. Let me do it for you now. I hope everything is right here. Oh yeah. Sing with me if you know any of this. My Lord, thank you for the sweet inspiration. Oh Lord, thank you for the love I found. Oh, no, she's the one I've been looking for. Ooh, it's a real wild situation, wild situation. It's a real wild situation, a situation, wild situation. She walked up to me and took me by the hand. A situation, wild situation. She told me she'd take me to the promised land. Situation, wild situation. I'll go down to Mama. She's an angel on the ground. Come love, come rain, come on now, let it shine. This love will last more than just a long, long time. Oh, no. She's the one I've been waiting for. Oh, it's a real wild situation, wild situation. Oh, it's a real wild situation, wild situation. She took off her clothes and moved in my direction. A situation, wild situation. I'll go down there, baby. She's the one I'm waiting for. Ooh, it's a real wild situation, a situation, wild situation. Oh, it's a real wild situation, a wild situation. She took off her clothes and moved in my direction. A situation, wild situation. Oh, it's a real wild situation, wild situation. Yeah, I am here to tell you, if anybody could get a wild situation going, it was Dennis. Trust me. Like, you know, speaking of wild situations, I went to a beach party the other day. It was just wild, and noisy, and out of control. I guess you could say it was sandemonium. And that sea lion was there too. He was having a good old time. Yeah, well, I got a couple more songs to sing. I hope you guys don't mind. I mean, hold on, let me see what we got here. Right? Oh, I gotta keep going here. Here's one that I practiced for you. And let's see what I've got here. What have I got here? Pretty song. Very good. It's a nice soothing song. Well, it's trivia contest time, folks. What do you think about that? I got something for you here. I think I might have given one of these away over the last year. God knows, I've given away so much stuff. I can't remember half of it. This is my fun home movies film that I made. This is a combination of the Hinsche home movies and the Wilson home movies. Yeah, you know, my parents loved taking those home movies, and Audrey and Murray, they had their fair share of home movies. And I'm going to send this to you, and with my compliments, I'll be happy to sign it for you, personalize it, whatever you like. If you answer correctly and quickly. Now, this is going to be tough for most of you, I think. I'm going to go deep. You got to really be a Dennis Wilson fan. You really got to know your stuff to know the answer to this question. So here we go. If you've won the contest before in the past, please don't participate if you know the answer, because we want to let others have a chance to win. Okay, fair enough. Here we go. Dennis loved animals. He had all kinds of pets over the years. I want you to give me the names of his 2 pet otters. He had 2 pet otters. Dennis and Carol lived up in Benedict Canyon there, and they had 2 pet otters. I need those names. And if you're a real Dennis Wilson fan, you ought to know. You ought to know the answer. I ought to know how to figure out how to work this piano by this point. There's that dang crash cymbal. Okay, I'm going to do another song. I've got a couple more songs. But we're going 90 minutes tonight. I have a strong feeling. So, what's so terrible, right? It's a Dennis Wilson show. Come on. We're going to blow the lock off tonight, folks, right? All right, what am I doing here? I got to get a sound. I got to get a style. I got to get a tempo. Oh, we're cooking now. We are cooking now. And if you like... This is off of Pacific Ocean Blue. The writers were Dennis Wilson, Gregg Jakobson, and someone named M. Horn. I should have asked Gregg who that was. And if you like that boogie woogie, love the way you move me, I love the way you groove me, I believe in a rock and roll. You're standing in the door, girl, holding down the floor, girl. Come on and rock and roll. Oh, what's wrong with you, girl? What's wrong with being crazy? I can't live without you. fade outs tonight. You like those fade outs? I do too. It's better than ending a song just abruptly, isn't it? Well, some songs you can end abruptly, but I wanted to fade that one out. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Well, I'm going to do such a purty ballad for you now. This is another one of these signature songs that Dennis wrote. It was off the Carl the Passions album, So Tough. The 18th studio album of the Beach Boys. Recorded at Brothers Studios in Santa Monica. Released in May of 1972. Written by Dennis Wilson and Daryl Dragon. Oh, what a great songwriting team. Daryl once described Dennis's writing as like the great writer Wagner. And this might be considered in that vein. The night has come. Cuddle up to me. Keep warm. Close to me. In dreams we'll dream, making love to wake, to find we're still one. Your love, your love, your love, your love for me is so warm and good to me, growing every day, honey, honey, I'm in love. I know a man who's so in love. The night has come. Cuddle up to me. Keep warm. Close to me. In dreams we'll dream, All right, cuddle up. That is a real heartbreaker of a song, isn't it? Whew. Oh, well, on a lighter note, did you hear that Elton John had his electronic book reader device? It was swept away in a tornado? Isn't that crazy? Well, that's what you call a Kindle in the wind. What? Oh my. Well, I gotta tell you, you know, my dad and Dennis were quite close, and when Pop left in 1976, well, he died in Dennis's arms. I can share that with you at UCLA. It's tough to talk about, so I'll just say at that time, Dennis wrote a song called Farewell My Friend for Pop, and it ended up on his Pacific Ocean Blue album. You go listen to it. I'm not going to play it for you tonight. It's too much for me to do. But you listen to it. It's a beautiful song. And then when Dennis went in 1983, I decided I'm going to write a song for Dennis, and that's what I did. But it took me 10 years to finish it. There was a get-together for Dennis in 1993 at Shea J, a bunch of Dennis's friends and some people from the fan community. They were all there, and I knew I had to finish it, so that I could record it and present it, and I wanted to do a film, and I did all of that. In fact, you can hear this on the Dennis Wilson movie that I did, Dennis Wilson Forever. And I don't think I've ever played this in public, if you can call this in public. And I'm going to do it for you now. I wrote it in the key of B flat. It's one of the keys Dennis favored when he wrote songs. You might, hear his signature chords sort of within the structure of the song. I had a friend who was very good to me. Now he's gone out on the rolling sea. He took me places that I'd never been. I guess you could say he was my very best friend. I remember when I was still in high school, but he took me in, even though I wasn't all that cool. But he was really something, and quite the ladies' man. He could make things happen like nobody can. Well, he was one in a million. Now he's just the brightest star in the sky. And I know, God willing, I'm gonna meet him in that sweet by and by. My, oh my, and I'll try not to cry. So I wrote this song for my long lost friend, and I wrote these words dedicated to him. And if you were lucky enough to meet this man, I just want to say I'd like to shake your hand, because you know that he was one in a million. Now he's just the brightest star in the sky. and I'll treat you. I wanna be with you again, just you and I. All right. Ooh. For you, for Dennis. And you know, I didn't know it at the time that I wrote that Dennis also had a song, it just wasn't in my consciousness, called You and I. What do you know about that? Coincidence? You be the judge. Desi likes to say that. Coincidence? You be the judge. Are you here tonight, Desi? Send up a Cuban cigar smoke signal for me. Oh boy, I love this song. David Marks and I performed this at the Hawthorne Landmark event. Maybe some of you were there. Yeah, this one's a great song. Oh, I hope I have everything set up right here. Oh, yes. Sounds good. From Pacific Ocean Blue, 1977 release. Writers were Dennis Wilson, Karen Lamb, and Gregg Jakobson. It was released on Caribou, Sony. I've never seen the light that people talk about. Open up my wallet and dust falls out, but that's alright with me, because the songs that I'll sing won't be blue. Yeah, honey, you and I, no more lonely nights. I'll never make the headlines or the evening news. There won't be a rags to riches story for me. Oh, but the songs that I sing won't be blue. Oh, honey, you and I, no more lonely nights. No more lonely nights. Take me there. The truth, the faith I have in you. Yeah, it's a melody. It's what we do together. My Jesus, you open up my heart. Yeah, you make me laugh when I'm feeling down. No more lonely nights. No more lonely nights. No more lonely nights. Sweet song. Didn't he write some great stuff? I mean, honestly. Oh, this one's a good one. We're going to have a real good time with this one. Oh, and happens to be my last song of the evening. Wow. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. It's been a big show, kind of an emotional show for me. But we're going to have a little fun with this one. Not that we haven't had fun with the other ones, but I mean to say, this one's a good song to sort of close out on, I think. From the Sunflower LP, 1970, writer Dennis Wilson. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm ready. Let's do this thing. Oh, listen to that beat. Woo, baby. Sing with me if you know it.
Slip inside and let my song take you for a ride. Here we go. Come on, won't you let me be by your side from now till eternity? 'Cause I love you, baby, I do. But now can't you see what has come over me? All my life is growing like a big old tree. 'Cause I love you. Let your mind go free. You won't regret the feeling you receive. Come on, won't you let me be by your side from now to eternity? 'Cause I love you, baby, I do. And now can't you see what has come over me? All my life is growing like a big old tree. 'Cause I love you, enjoyed the show, everybody. Yeah, how about that? Oh yeah, thank you, Dennis, for writing that. That put a big old smile on my face. It's a nice way to conclude. Well, thank you for sticking around. This is a special night for me. I hope it was for you too. And I sure hope to see you next week, God willing, and the creek don't rise. I'm not sure what next week is going to be. I have some ideas, but I haven't made a commitment. But I'll let you know in a few days. Now, if you like tonight's show and if you like to see me continue on this way, it'd sure be great if you could send in a little something via PayPal or Venmo. That would be super, just super. And of course, a portion of the proceeds goes to MusiCares, as always. And I'll write you a personal note of thanks, you know. I mean, it's going to help me keep the lights on and that air conditioner humming. Starting to get hot here in Vegas, so come on now, let's go out on a big old positive note here. What do you say? Positivity every day. Positivity in every way. Positivity is what I need. Positivity, yes indeed. Come on. Positivity throughout the day. Positivity is what I say. Positivity is my friend. Positivity through thick and thin. Come on. Positivity is good for my soul. Positivity for young and old. positive, everybody. Come on now. I know I'm going to. I sure hope you do too. And until we meet again, I truly hope that all the blessings of this wonderful life come to you and your loved ones right away. Good night.